It is Monday, September the 18th. We are fresh off of NFL Week 2, and my goodness, Brendan just went on one of the best heaters I've absolutely seen. But before we get into that, Brendan, how we doing?
I'm good, man. Dubs only. We do dubs on this show.
Dubs. Yeah, speaking
Shout
of
out,
dubs. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
shout out to that comment that guy put on there that my take was bad.
Bad take. But speaking of dubs, let's just go ahead and review yours. My favorite one. Speaking of the comment, Seahawks cover 5.5 and over 51.5. Verbatim, word for word, you said, I think Seahawks cover in a shootout. Dome games only. And that was money. The over hit, the over smashed, and not only did the Seahawks cover outright, but they won. So, great call on that one. Beach, victory lap it all you want. Great call.
No, I mean, that was the most fun game of the whole Sunday. So I'm really excited about that. I mean, if like the Lions beat the Chiefs in the first game of the season, and everyone just thought they were just going to be amazing and like blow people out or whatever. But they are still a shootout team either way, all day. Them and the Vikings this year are still shootout teams, no doubt. So keep that in mind when looking at some of these picks. But yeah, I was pretty happy about it. I like the Lions. I like the Seahawks. I love offense and I love touchdowns, and they got it done.
Yeah. So that was number one. Number two was the Commanders covering 3.5 against the Broncos. And my goodness, that game that was insane ending. You know, the Broncos get out early, and then the Commanders not only come back, but then they start putting the gas pedal on. Sam Howell and Unity, that tandem looks unreal. Could actually contend for that division, believe it or not. But and then the Broncos throw a Hail Mary.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Should have tied it up with the 2-point conversion. That was definitely a PI call. But hey, nonetheless, Commanders end up winning and covering the plus 3.5 outright. You and your boys are on a cover train this year. Commanders 2-0 ATS. Brendan has Commanders on both slips. So, enough said there. I mean,
what team covered a lot last year that we kept taking? Was it the Lions? I think it was.
Falcons too.
It was the Falcons? Yeah. I mean, I want the Commanders to be good so bad, and I'm really happy that they've been doing it so far, but heck of a comeback win. Sam Howell, you're my daddy. And they're rocking and rolling, man. I mean, Brian Robinson looks like a dog out there. He gets shot a couple times and you come back and you're a good NFL player. So I really like the team still. I like a lot of pieces of that offense. The defense is pretty good. I mean, the game started out. What did they come back from? Was it like 20 points?
It wasn't quite 20, but it was a 2-possession game at some point. I do know that, but yeah, I mean, they look good, and the Broncos defense, man, is no easy task at Denver too. So, I mean, take that as you will. They're legit. We have enough.
I mean, both teams are like pretty par teams. Like, they're not great teams. They're not horrible teams. But
right.
Gosh, they got it. They got that dog in them. Chest X-ray.
It feels good that Washington's actually relevant.
I like it. And interesting enough, I don't know, this is going to be not correct, but almost correct. It's like 10 years of a different team winning that division. Like, no team wins that division 2 years in a row. And I said it off the air to somebody, probably wasn't you, might have been my grandpa, I don't even know, that I was like, hey, man, the Redskins, which is what this should be called, they're back. And they might win the division. They could, but probably not. But they're still good. But they're good, and I love them, and I'm going to continue to have them on my cover train pretty much for the whole year. So we're going to probably ride them this week also. We'll talk about that later.
Love it. Yeah, I had them on my slip too. Thank goodness. Kind of salvaged a break-even day for me. Next one, the Bucks -3. That was a good one. I mean, the Bucks look good, and Baker Mayfield actually has this team kind of rolling, So our projections sure like him. I was kind of worrisome about it, but came through. Anything to say about that?
Yeah, the Bucks are kind of good, and it's really weird. And they still have Evans and Godwin, which is great. Both are still very, very good receivers, and someone's going to get paid. Evans might get traded. I don't know.
Mhm.
But Baker, I mean, par quarterback. He just shoots par. Like he's not great, but I mean they were able to really open it up, and their defense is still so good that I take them like big underdog spreads against them. Like if they play like I don't know the Chiefs
Yeah.
or something, they're like 10-point underdogs. I like the Bucks to cover that like
Right.
all day.
And I mean, that's a good point. That was more of a field pick on your end. So proud of that one. Pretty easy. Justin Fields looks awful. I really don't know what else to say, but he just looks not good right now. He's not comfortable in that scheme. He, again, he has a processing issue, and he is so used to running the ball and scrambling that's become his first, you know, uh, first reaction in the middle of a play. So I'm worried about him. I know he's still a very talented player, but his mental game is just not quite there yet to be a high caliber NFL quarterback. So worried about them. I'm definitely not going to fool around with them for the next couple of weeks, just because Justin Fields is playing down, but as soon as he gets back up, I think he can hang with a lot of the teams in the league. So, I'm putting them on. I have a couple of teams on my do not touch list. So they're on that list with a few others, but man, I hope he cleans it up because he looks awful. So
yeah, I want to shout out friend of the show, Aaron Jones, my brother. I'm sorry, man. He told me this past week he didn't like what I said about the Bears, and I'm sorry I was right, but they're just not good. Right. They're just not good.
Subtle shade. I'm sorry I was right.
I really am sorry, Aaron.
Yeah, hey, it happens. It happens. But all right, let's get on to something that crushed me. The beer bets this week.
Oh.
Brendan called Ravens +3 and the over hitting in that game outright and just crushed me. I was on the projections. The projections had the Bengals winning by like 5 or something in the under hitting. But my goodness, I think it's an anomaly because, dude, Joe Burrow does not look like himself. Apparently, he tweaked his calf again. Mm-hmm. And this team just looks like all out of sorts. This offense does. I mean, thank goodness T. Higgins kind of got back in the mix. But now Jamar Chase is out of it. So this team is not on the same page. Joe Burrow is not 100% healthy. He actually retweaked his calf again. We'll keep an eye on that. But, I mean, just like abysmal play all around. If they didn't have that special teams touchdown, the Bengals would have been blown out of the water.
Yeah.
But kudos to the Ravens because, I know I picked them to lose this week, but I know both you and I were high on the Ravens in the offseason. So it's fun seeing that come to fruition. Brendan, you spanked me on that, but kudos to you.
Yeah, I will. I'll continue to be behind the Ravens all season, and I will say that the Bengals won't stay like this. They won't. They'll get their shit together. Like they won't. I don't think they'll stay like this. Now, preseason Jamar was like, Joe, sit out 5 games. We got you. Like on the back end. Like as long as they make the playoffs, that's all they want. And I wouldn't be surprised if they sit him. I don't remember. Jake Browning is a backup quarterback, I think. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they let Joe get fully recovered and then they come out guns blazing. I'm trying to trade for Jamar Chase in every fantasy league because everyone's got to be really pissed.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. We'll see pending Joe Burrow's calf injury, but they've done this before. They've started off slow in a season. They have always come back. On to week 3, we have so many exciting games to talk about. Before we do that, hey, check out our Twitter account somewhere up here. It has all of our primetime matchup cards, all of our projections for both NFL and college football. It also has a link to the app that we're testing that includes NFL and college football data. So make sure to check that out as well. And also, If you can't watch on YouTube, we also have our podcast on both Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So if you're driving, if you're working out, if you can't access YouTube for any reason, make sure to check us out. We would love to have you guys there. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe to the video. And most importantly, drop your favorite picks. We love that information. We love scanning the crowd. We know that there's picks out there that we may miss. Do it. Last week we had somebody who dropped a near perfect score prediction between the Eagles and the Vikings. I thought it was so cool. Please do that for us. It means the world to us. We love that. All right. NFL Week 3. Starting off with the Thursday Night Football game, the Giants, who just had the amazing comeback against the Cardinals, go to San Francisco. They are 10.5-point dogs. The over-under total is around 45 on most books. Brendan, do you think the G-men keep it rolling, stay hot against the San Francisco 49ers, or do you think the 49ers come out on top here? What do you think?
Like I said a few minutes ago, this is football. So I know the spread is really high, and I think that the Giants will cover the spread against the 49ers, even though on paper and everything else, 49ers are the better team. The 10.5 is really high for an NFL game, and I think the Giants will cover. I don't think they're going to win. I think they're going to cover.
All right. Well, my take on this is that we just saw a team with a similar build in the Dallas Cowboys compared to the San Francisco 49ers. Strong defense, really complete offense. They absolutely murdered the Giants, and it's a home game for the 49ers. I have a hard time believing that the Giants can really, keep it up. And let's not forget the game that they just had that miraculous comeback against was the Arizona Cardinals, who are everything but openly tanking. They are starting a quarterback who's been in the building for less than 2 months. Mm-hmm. Even though I love the guy, go Josh Dobbs. But nonetheless, we can't pretend like that was a good win for the Giants. I mean, they did come back, but gosh, that's gross. Absolutely gross. But let's talk about some of the money here. It is early. Again, it is Monday, September 18th, very early in the week, but we look at the money to see what's going on behind the scenes. And my goodness, this is one of the more lopsided ones that I've seen. 91% of the bets are on the 49ers. 93% of the money is on the 49ers. Looks like there's really just nothing to take away here. Everybody, all of the public is on the 49ers, and all of the big money is on the 49ers. So do you take anything away from that? Like, does that lean you one way or the other? What do you think? Where's your head at?
Yeah, it just increases my confidence.
Yeah. Okay.
We don't follow trends around. Or I don't follow trends around here. They the public.
Yeah. Speak for yourself. I started following trends. But hey, that's a good point. I mean, 10.5 points is a huge number for a professional football team. It's really it's few and far between where you see those hit on a regular basis. My projections actually have the 49ers winning by 9 with a total of 44. So maybe a little slower paced. And if this is slower paced and lower scoring than we anticipate, I could definitely see the Giants covering, and just using the logic of a lower scoring game, a slower paced game. Naturally, it makes it much more difficult for big spreads to hit. So I'm not personally doing anything with this, but just breaking down the game from my perspective, using my projections and just analyzing the results. You said Saquon Barkley is out. They won't have much of a explosive offensive game on the Giants side. They definitely do on the 49ers side, but I don't think we'll see it. I think we'll see more like a slog type of game. The 49ers might impose their will, but it'll still be in a slower manner if I had to guess. No touch game for me, though. I don't like this game.
Jalen Hyatt over whatever the receiving yards are.
Okay. You think he can do it on
I think he catches one pass for about 50 yards.
Okay.
That's gonna be over his total.
Yeah. I mean, granted, like he's probably projected to have like one catch for 20 something yards.
20. It'll be 20 or 30 yards. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Um, all right. Yeah, that game is nothing for me. You know, that game doesn't really get me excited. You know, just Thursday night football. You know, another one of those prototypical games, the stereotypical Thursday night football games, it seems like. But, you know, hey, maybe the G Men are back on track and they can be the team that we thought they were going to be this whole season. I don't know. The 49ers look too good, but NFL is a crazy league. Moving on. Chargers go to Minnesota to play the Vikings. Vikings are +1 underdogs. They're actually becoming a pick'em slash favorite on some other big books. So the public seems like they're steaming this number up. However, looking at the money, 64% of the money is on the Vikings. Therefore, you know, that quick snap was correct. The public is steaming this on. Not necessarily the majority of the tickets, because only 35% of the total bets are on the Vikings, but 65% of the money is on the Vikings. So, Chargers, man, they let us down. You know, if this was, you know, the Chargers hadn't been doing what they're doing, I'd be all over the Chargers. I still think they're the better team because they have the like much better defense, much better defense than the Vikings do. But man, I tell you what, the Vikings looked good against the Eagles. Surprisingly, they did average over 6 yards a play, which is unheard of against that Eagles defense. I mean, explosive offense, but their defense, man, just looks awful. They also had a streak of bad luck, so I could see the Vikings covering here. I actually really like the Vikings to win outright at home, coming off a tough 2 week stretch. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that the Chargers got caught in a game script with the Titans, which happens a lot of times. And you know, I like the Vikings as a shootout team all the time. And being at home in the dome, I think this is going to be a high scoring game. But I think that plays into the Chargers as well. So, dude, I don't know. I want to pick the Chargers really bad. The Vikings starting to 0-3 would be devastating, but I just think it's going to be higher scoring, faster pace. If the over under is 50 or less, over.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it is. It's actually totaled as the highest game on the slate at 53.
Perfect.
So again, hey, you nailed the hammer on the head last week with the Seahawks and the Lions.
It's dome season.
It is dome season. It is dome season. So that's big time there with that game. I expect fireworks. But yeah, I'm laying Vikings +1 on this one. I can't really say anything about the total, but you know, my projections have this at a pick even. It actually has the Vikings by 0.3 of a point. So the total, it's projected 25 almost, and the total sitting at 51 in my projections, 53 on Vegas books, probably because of the dome situation. So, and the lack of defense on the Vikings and seemingly the Chargers. So, love the Vikings this week, man. You know, I'm a big proponent of the Chargers, but I can't buy into them yet.
I like the Vikings over that 25 total points at home. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean,
I like that. Those are some that I would do randomly, but yeah, I really want a domed shootout in this game. We have a non-primetime Kirk, and that's due for 320, 3 touchdowns.
I hope so. My fantasy team needs it from Jefferson.
Yeah, you're gonna want to start all your players in that game.
Yes, yeah, for sure. All right, moving on to some more exciting things. We have Bills going to the Commanders, aka Brendan's team. We have Commanders sitting at 6.5-point underdogs at home, but you know, this line is moving. I see it as 6 and even plus 5.5 on some big books. So the line's moving, and I can already tell you right now what Brendan's going to do. So I'll let him take the cake here. Brendan, who do you like in this game?
Yeah, man, oh, dude, if it goes to 5.5, that really changes it. I like a Commanders 6.5 at home because even if it goes to overtime, it'll only be 6. So I like Commanders 6.5 to cover at home. But I still like the Commanders to cover either way. And look, I'm a feel guy. I'm a feel guy. I like the Commanders. The Commanders are riding hot after coming back, and they're at home, baby. It's
They
the
are.
Redskins. It's Sam
They are.
Howell. It's Eric Bieniemy. It's Brian Robinson.
You know, I will credit the Commanders. They are actually a top half team in the league in terms of offensive EPA now.
Mhm.
So offense is looking good. They're firing on all cylinders under Bieniemy. I mean, my goodness, who would have thought? But proud of them. Kudos to them. However, this is a beer bet. I'm taking the Bills to cover the 6 points at home. I think the Bills get it, or the Bills, they're away. Sorry, but at the Commander's place, I'm taking it at 6, and I'm going to take it at 5.5. If I'm, personally, I'm going to wait because, I would love to see this line go down, but I don't think it's going to happen. Looking at the money splits, 87% of the total bets are on the Bills. 99% of the money right now, according to Action Network, is on the Bills. That's crazy. So, this again, it's early in the week, but it seems like everybody who's getting their bets in early.
Well, that's good. That means the line won't go back down any. So what are we taking right now? Are we having this beer bet at the current line?
Current line
6.5.
I see 6.5.
Okay, we'll do it at 6.
Okay, yeah,
we'll do 6.
Fair. Yeah, so that's where the money is looking at right now. It opened up at 4.5 before week 2, so it steamed up a little bit and then it came back to 6.5. My projections have, believe it or not, has the Commanders covering. It actually has it as a 5-point spread. Bills winning outright. So you never know. But I'm taking this beer bet. I gotta get it right. I gotta get Brendan in 1. So Bills, please do me right. Please take it home.
Don't force it, man. You can't take any more L's.
I know. Tough scenes. But moving on, a team where I am not taking any L's on. Lions go to the Falcons' house. Let's go, Dirty Birds. Right now, the line is at +5, but I anticipate this line moving. We're early in the week, so I would fully expect this line to go down in the Falcons' way, in their direction. I am already on Falcons +5 at home against these Lions. I love this team. Again, personal take here. The Falcons are my team, but I just can't not lay this because the Falcons at home in a dome against a Lions team whose defense is, still struggling. Their offense is not, but their defense is still struggling. I think the Falcons can take advantage of that. They can put some points on the board. I think they proved that against the Packers, who have a really solid defense as well. And let's go check out some money. Right now, as it stands, we have a 69% to 31% split of the bets in favor of the Falcons. 82% of the money is on the Falcons and 18% is on the Lions. That makes me a little concerned here. But, I do like seeing more money than actual public bets. To me, that indicates potential sharp money on whatever team that outweighs the public majority percentage of bets. So, I'm not discouraged by that number. I'm not happy about it, but man, I love this Falcons team. Brendan, how do you feel about this game?
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I like the Falcons at 5. I think it could go down to like 3.5 based on the Falcons being at home and the overall money being on the Falcons. But I do have to ask you a question real quick, though. We talked about being in a dome, but don't you think that would favor the Lions more because the Lions are way more prone to just like airing it out?
Sure. Yeah, in theory. I definitely do think so, but I think the Falcons actually have a sneaky good defense. So, and in my personal experience, like the Falcons do perform better at home in the dome than anywhere else. It's like a night and day difference almost. It's kind of concerning. Maybe this year they can break the curse, but yeah, I see where your head's at with that one. I do see it favoring the Lions a little bit more in that instance, but man, like the Falcons are just such a better team at home under the dome. I think they can really get the running game going and control the clock against this Lions team. Play a game of possession and just trust in their defense. Their pass rush is going to have a hard time generating anything against this like top three Lions offensive line, but I do trust that our secondary can really get it done against this wide receiving core, considering that Amon-Ra St. Brown is struggling with turf toe right now. So I think he's going to fight it through, but that is one thing to note. He will be banged up a little bit. He does have turf toe. It's not too terribly bad, but it does damper this Lions outlook a little bit. They still got your guy Laporta to show out, but I trust the Falcons. I trust the Falcons defensive secondary. I really believe in that unit to get it done. So Falcons +5. I'm on it all day. Love it.
I want everyone to listen to this. I'm going to pull this up here just so everyone can see me. My bold prediction for this game is that Bijan Robinson finally breaks one 63-yard touchdown in the first quarter.
63. I love this specific number that you have right there.
If it's wrong, it's wrong. But if it's right, it's right.
Yeah.
It's right.
Gosh, if that's right, I don't even know what I'm going to do.
Oh, no, I guess I have to go to Vegas and just
light it up.
Win the Powerball.
Hey, that's going to be a fun game, though. I'm super excited about it. I know I'm a little biased, but I think that's going to be an exciting game nonetheless for everybody. So one that I surely wanted to talk about on the show today. Another one that I wanted to talk about, not because it's a sexy game, but because I think there's something to exploit. I think you see it as well. Titans go to Cleveland. Again, we haven't seen the Cleveland week 2 game yet. They played the Steelers tonight. We're actually recording on Monday. So, we're taking that risk by not watching them in week 2, but we think that maybe their performance tonight will influence the line of next week, and we can potentially snipe the line before it moves anymore. Right now, as it stands, Browns are 4.5 on most books against the Titans at home. Good stuff. And ranges anywhere from 4.5 to 3.5. I've also seen it at +5 for the Titans. Right now, 61% of the bets are on the Titans. 96% of the money is on the Titans, which is crazy. Just absolutely crazy. But so the public and the money surely weigh in the Titans' favor. But I like the Browns, man. I think their defense is underrated. I think that their offense has the capability to be top tier. I mean, if Deshaun Watson can find his groove, they're going to be unstoppable. They have the offensive line to do it. My projections have this as a 4.5 point game. Yeah, right on the money with Vegas, 4.8 actually. So I'm in favor of the Browns here. What do you think? Break it down for me.
I agree, but I think the line's going to go in an opposite direction than you think. I think the Steelers keep it close tonight, and the Steelers maybe win at home tonight, and the line goes down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
like a 4.
If you're watching this post and the game goes down, I think I would do that personally as well.
Yeah.
I think a loss to the Steelers would not dissuade me one way or the other. The only reason it would, I would need to see how their defense performed, because they are down Deontay Johnson. And if they can really move the ball without him, I will be concerned a little bit about the defense. But, I mean, we saw what they did to Joe Burrow in week 1 at home. We saw their offense. They are more than capable of moving it up and down the field, especially if Deshaun Watson picks it up. He still looked a bit rusty, but he's not afraid to run the football. He's ready to roll. I have full confidence in Kevin Stefanski calling the plays. So, big proponent of the Browns. If you've been a follower of the show, you know how big we are on the Browns in terms of a yearly season outlook. So I believe in them. I'm on the Browns this week. I fully anticipate them taking it to the Titans and their abysmal offensive line. So, all right, moving on. Rams go to the Bengals. Right now it's 3.5, but dude, with the Joe Burrow news, I think we're watching it drop as we speak. it is down to like 2.5, 3 in some books, and I wouldn't be shocked if it goes to Bengals 1.5 or 1. Uh, I like the Rams here if you can get it at 3.5 or 3, but anything lower than that, I can't be too confident about. The Rams look good. I was off of the Rams the entire preseason because their defense, like if you look at the roster, it's not good, straight up. But we downplayed, I think, the savviness of Sean McVay a little too much. Even though the roster is not nearly as, a high end as some of these other teams in the league, I think that Sean McVay is still a wizard uh, when it comes to football knowledge, and he can make any team, you know, a contender. It feels like so. I like the Rams, even though it's at Cincinnati. I may be more inclined to take the Bengals under a 3-point spread if Joe Burrow plays. If Joe Burrow plays, that's a key. I like the Rams if you can get it in at 3.5. But for me, if you're watching this and it's dropped below that, I would probably wait and see until you hear about Joe Burrow and what they're going to do and see what the line does right now. As it stands,
I see two.
77% of the public bets are on the Rams. 91% of the money is on the Rams. Seems like a lot of money came in on that line early, so I think that's why it's moving down. So, Brendan, how do you feel about this game?
Yeah, I mean it's Puka Nacua time, Puka Nacua season.
Dog.
Stafford with McVay just continues to produce regardless of who they have because they still don't have anybody. I think Puka's pretty good. He separates better than Democrats and Republicans do, and he's really earning a lot of targets. And I mean, it's just getting open. And oh my gosh, what is it? Kieran Williams?
Yeah,
they're gonna cut Cam Akers or something. I don't know, man. But all I know is I'm on the Rams. I don't think this is the bounce back week for the Bengals. I think the Rams win.
Yeah, I mean,
Monday night game. I think the Rams win.
We better hope so. Projections are heavy on the Bengals in this one, but I don't think it takes into account Joe Burrow injury, and it's just down on the Rams, with their defensive roster in general. But it doesn't take into account like the intangible aspect of having Sean McVay calling your plays. So, I mean, I'm on the Rams. I guess I will say this: I'm against the Bengals until I see something otherwise. I think this line's going to keep moving down more and more, and I wouldn't be shocked if we eventually see it tilt in favor of the Rams, especially with the news of Joe Burrow. I wanted to get Rams early, but if it drops below any more, do not touch until we hear the status of Joe Burrow. But it should be a fun game nonetheless. Monday Night Football. I'm excited about that one. Last one that I wanted to talk about in length. Colts go to the Ravens. Ravens are 8-point favorites. Anthony Richardson is out with, or potentially out with concussion. We're not sure, but I don't even necessarily have like a pick to lay in this one. I wanted to ask you if Anthony Richardson plays, do you think the Colts cover that 8-point spread?
Yeah, I do.
I kind of do too. I mean, I will say ahead of talking about the projections, my model has a Colts problem where they are unreasonably high on the Colts. So, I can't. I don't want to like manually tweak it because I don't know any better right now, but it does have a Colts problem. So the fact of the matter is, it loves the Colts. It actually likes them, as like a 1-point underdog rather than the full an 8-point underdog. So nonetheless, I do too. If Anthony Richardson plays, even if Gardner Minshew plays, I see him keeping it competitive. So, huge believer in Shane Steichen. I just wanted to bring this up and talk about it briefly because of how polarizing of a team the Colts are. 39% of the bets are on the Colts. 17% of the money is on the Colts. So it seems like public is really in favor of the Ravens. It's altering between 7.5, 8. But man, I see an 8.5 here on some books. I kind of like it. So
yeah, This is so against everything that I stand for, but I feel like the Colts are going to be up by like 3 with 2 minutes left, and Lamar has a game-winning drive to win. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. It's unlike me because I wasn't on the Colts at all, but Steichen is really elevating their team with Anthony Richardson, and even if he doesn't play, I still think that it's closer than 8. I think the Ravens will win.
Yeah, I mean, big on the Ravens this year, but I love the Colts. They're a sneaky team.
Hey, a win's a win. I still think the Ravens are going to win. They know how to win.
True. Yeah, it may be ugly, but they'll win. All right. Hey, that's it for the main slate that I wanted to talk about. Let's get into our quick shot segment. I'm going to roll through the rest of these lines. Let me know what you think. Saints go to Green Bay. Green Bay is 1.5 point favorite right now. Who are you liking this one?
Green Bay.
Me too. Green Bay 1.5. It looks like our projections have them right around. I really need to make this font bigger, dude.
Put your reading glasses on.
I know. They're somewhere around here, but Green Bay projected to win by 3. So convenient. There we go. All right. Texans go to Jaguars. Jaguars kind of slipped up last week against the Jags. That was a disappointing game. But they play at home. They're 9.5 point favorites against CJ Stroud and the Texans. Who do you like in this game?
9.5.
9.5.
I'm gonna go Jags get back game.
Wow.
Do I? Yeah, I do. I'm taking a high spread. Jags.
Fine. I'm taking the Texans. No beer brother though. Can't do that. All right. Broncos go to Dolphins. Dolphins 6.5 point favorites. Do you think Tua keeps it going?
Yes, Dolphins.
That one's tough. I think Broncos cover 22-18 according to the model, right with the projections. All right. Pats go to the Jets. Jets are 2.5 point home favorites against the Pats. Who do you like here?
Pats money line.
Sorry, I said that wrong. 2.5 point dogs at home.
Oh, yeah, Pats.
Pats. Yeah, I agree. Projections have Pats too by 4. All right. Cowboys go to the Cardinals. Cardinals are 12.5 point underdogs at home. Gosh, dude. I don't want to touch this one, but I feel like what's stopping them from doing to the Cardinals what they did to the Giants?
Well, Cowboys look a lot better than the Giants, but I still think Cardinals cover 12.5. That's an enormous spread.
All right. So technical difficulty. It looks like Brendan froze out. Brendan, you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. You froze out for a second. What was that?
The spread is gigantic, and I think that the Cardinals are going to cover at home.
Ooh. Okay. I'll go Cowboys.
Oh.
Steelers at Raiders. Now, this line has been kind of interesting because it's been moving. We also haven't seen the Steelers play week 2 yet, but right now they're about a 1 point favorite in Las Vegas. Do you think they cover?
The Steelers are favored?
Yep. Away.
Go Steelers.
Ooh. Okay. Ooh, I don't know. We'll see. All right. Another good one. Eagles go to the Bucks. This opened as a 7 point favorite for the Eagles as away favorites, but now the line is down to 5.5. Do you like the Bucks to cover the 5.5 at home, or do you like the Eagles to clear it? I'll tell you what I think. I think the Eagles win 5.5 easy.
I like the Eagles 5.5.
Yeah, Eagles win by 8. That's my prediction. Last one I wanted to talk about was none. That's it. Brendan,
right.
Appreciate you being here for NFL Week 3 predictions, breakdowns, picks against the spread. Guys, don't forget, drop your favorite picks below in the comments. We appreciate you listening. We will be here next week. Make sure to check out our Twitter. We will be dropping our projections middle of the week for this slate. Talk to you guys later.
Go Vols.